But
very much, I appreciate
we
it.
went up and we looked at it, and I don't know it, I know Paul Gray takes care of that, right?
Yeah. I think the main thing that happened to that, somebody's put a lot of salt on it, is heating it up.
And that's quite certain, and if you have a recommendation for that, I would be more than happy when you get it done,
Right.
to take that back to the vestry to make sure that we are not causing
Yeah.
any of the problems that occur up there.
Mhm. Like I said, it is being taken care of. and
Thank you.
We're trying to get it as fast as we can. We know that now that most of the summer is over, past Labor Day, the traffic is kind of slowed down a little bit. So we'll be right on, okay?
I understand. Quite well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to offer the floor to anybody else that would like to speak. Well, it's a 3-minute comment. If not, we'll move right on to resolutions.
Resolution 81, 2015, local law 2 of 2015, override the tax limit establishing general municipal law 3-C. Whereas the town board has opted to use the override tax limit established in general municipal law 3-C for the budget year 2016, and whereas the board held a public hearing on September 10, 2015 at 6:30, now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Essex that the town board hereby adopts local law 2 of 2015 entitled override the tax levy limit established in general law, municipal law 3-C. The town board directs the town clerk to publish local law 2 of 2015 once in the newspaper and to file local law 2, 2015 with the New York State Secretary of the State. Local law 2 of 2015 shall become effective 10 days after the publication referenced above upon its filing with the New York State Secretary of State. The foregoing resolution is duly adopted by the town board at its regular meeting held on September 10, 2015.
Need a motion?
I'll move it.
You just need to take the P out of it.
Yeah, I just see that.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Mark Christie,
Yes.
Sarah Pine,
Yes,
Brian Gerby,
Yes.
James LaForest,
Yes.
Edward Burke.
Yes.
Resolution 82 of 2015, local law 3 of 2015. Whereas the town board in 2013 adopted local law 1 of 2013, and whereas the town board held a public hearing on September 10th at 2015 at 6:45, and whereas the town board has since deemed it unnecessary and rescinds it, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Essex, 1, established that the town board hereby adopts local law 3 of 2015 and oh my God, I got this wrong, don't
Yes, I
I?
just,
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
it's supposed to speak for the deputy, right?
Yep. I guess it doesn't need, the town board, the town board directs the town clerk to publish local law 3 of 2015 once in the newspaper and to file local law 3 of 2015 with the New York State Secretary of the State. Local law 3 of 2015 shall become effective 10 days after the publication referenced above and upon its filing with the New York Secretary of the State. So I'm just eliminating that first section. Number 1.
The whole section.
Yeah, that was fun.
Just do delete.
Need a motion? Accept as amended.
I'll move it as corrected.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Yes. Accepting it as adjusted.
As corrected, yeah.
That's
As
correct.
corrected. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, sorry.
Roll call vote.
Mark Mosley,
Yes.
Claire LaPine,
Yes.
Brian Garvey,
Yes.
James LaForest.
Yes.
Dick Gardner.
Yes.
Resolution 83 of 2015 of the Town Board of the Town of Essex. A resolution seeking state assistance with the New York tax cap. Whereas in 2011, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and the New York State Legislature adopted what is commonly referred to and known as New York State's property tax cap to address New York's ever-increasing property taxes. And whereas the property tax cap set in place a cap on the growth of the property taxes in New York, whereby real property taxes are capped at 2% per year, or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. And whereas the focus of the tax cap has been on the laudable goal of driving down costs on government services cuts through cuts and consolidation in services and heightened economic development aimed at alleviating the pressures of the tax cap. And whereas while increasing economic development everywhere in New York State is an important and laudable goal, New York's towns and counties within the blue line of the Adirondack Park face particular hardships when seeking development projects due to the additional government regulations and hurdles. And whereas such government regulations significantly curtail the amount of available acreage within the blue line for economic development and imposes additional regulatory hurdles for beneficial development within the Adirondack Park. And whereas recent studies, including a 2009 Adirondack Park Regional Assessment Project sponsored by the Adirondack Association of Towns and Villages and the Adirondack North Country Association, notes the aging population of the Adirondack Park and the significant decrease in viable economic opportunities for residents within the Adirondack Park. And whereas in addition, the 2009 Adirondack Park Regional Assessment Project also noted from 1980 to 2006, real property taxes portion of total revenue within the park actually decreased in the average Adirondack community. And whereas many communities in the Adirondack Park also have aging water and/or sewer systems, which combined with ever-increasing regulatory controls from New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, New York State Department of Health, and the United States Environmental Protection Agency, have actually resulted in increased employee hours and financial obligations simply to keep those systems within permit guidelines and limits. And whereas communities within the Adirondack Park find themselves at significant crossroads, higher regulatory and financial obligations for aging infrastructure versus compliance with the tax cap. And whereas most communities within the Adirondack Park have already taken significant steps aimed at cost saving within their communities, including significant reductions in highway and DPW staff and other staffing cuts. And whereas most communities within the Adirondack Park now find themselves understaffed to the point where essential public services, including road maintenance and the ability to monitor and maintain their water and/or sewer systems, simply cannot be performed within the available employee hours given such reductions. And whereas much of the land in the Adirondack Park, with more being purchased every year, is owned by the state of New York and the nonprofits aimed at curtailing development within the Adirondack Park, which only increases the burden imposed on local taxpayers. And whereas the year-round residents and taxpayers of the Adirondack Park are at a breaking point with the need for meaningful services and roads and the ever-decreasing revenue with which to supply such services and roads. And whereas the communities within the Adirondack Park hereby ask Governor Andrew Cuomo and members of the New York State Legislature to help the residents and taxpayers of the Adirondack Park with the regulatory relief and financial assistance to help our communities comply within the tax cap. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Essex ask Governor Andrew Cuomo and members of the New York State Legislature to help the residents and taxpayers of the Adirondack Park with regulatory relief and financial assistance to help our communities comply with the tax cap. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Essex ask Governor Andrew Cuomo and members of the New York State Legislature to provide funding assistance for the communities within the blue lines of the Adirondack Park for water, sewer, and road infrastructure to help offset the loss of revenues imposed by New York's tax cap, which loss is grossly exceeding the cost of supplying such services, particularly within the blue line of the Adirondack Park. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Essex asks Governor Andrew Cuomo, the members of the state legislature, to provide meaningful regulatory relief to communities within the blue lines of the Adirondack Park so that the actual economic development can take place. And be it further resolved that this resolution take effect immediately.
I'll hear that again.
Good reading, Pat.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I spoke hard.
I move we, I move accept this as the resolution.
And I'll second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Mark Grizzly,
Yes.
Claire LaPont,
Yes.
Brian Garvey,
Yes.
James LaForest,
Yes,
Edward Brenner.
Yes.
Resolution 84, 2015, in support of completion of the Boquet River Watershed Management Plan by the Boquet River Association. Whereas over the last 2 years, the Boquet River Association (BRASS) completed a very intensive watershed-wide environmental assessment, and whereas BRASS has expended about $40,000 in the past 2 years on empirical field work and mixed methods of research, data collection, developing a GIS atlas, and pulling it all together into a 200-plus page Phase 1 report with appendices. Whereas BRASS wants to share the results with the watershed local governments and other key stakeholders, including local codes, highway, planning, and town boards, and invite them to participate in the development of recommendations for implementation. And whereas the Lake Champlain Basin Program has noted the BRASS has a really nice project and could define some specific next steps as a grant proposal to complete the plan in consultation with the watershed local governments. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Essex supports the efforts of BRASS to submit and receive funding from the Lake Champlain Basin Program to complete the watershed management plan, which includes public and government input, recommendations, and printing of the document.
so this is just,
Just an approval so they can get their grant from the Lake Champlain Basin to finish up the project.
Okay.
Just a letter of support.
Right.
And I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Councilperson Pine,
Yes.
Councilperson Wisley,
Yes.
Councilperson Garvey,
Yes.
Councilperson LaForest,
Yes,
Supervisor Burke. This one's a short one. Resolution 85, 2015, a resolution of condolence to Kevin DeLauder for the passing of his mother. This is being offered by the town board and moved its adoption.
I move we accept this.
Have a unanimous second?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's say we move unanimous.
No. Unanimous.
Resolution 86, 2015, is being offered to sell the old stone church to John Dalton with a selling price of $90,000 subject to a public referendum. Resolution 85, 2012, resolution declaring the old stone church building no longer useful to the town of Essex on a motion made by Councilman LaForest, seconded by Councilwoman Lapine. The resolution was adopted by a vote of 4 yes and 0 no on May 17, 2012. The town board hired the firm Armstrong Appraisers who appraised the building at $86,000. The town board will hold a public hearing on the sale of the old stone church building to John Dalton, and you have to make a decision on that.
So at this,
Just on the public hearing, you already declared it, so that surpluses. And this is what the price is. Reason for that is he owns them backstage.
Yeah.
And if we went, sold it to somebody else, we'd have to clear that up, and he's gonna fight us on it. And it could end up costing us more. You could win it in adverse possession, or you go the other way. No. It's up to you.
Excuse me, did this go to a public hearing?
Not yet. It's just.
But it's going to?
Mhm.
So other members of the public could possibly buy the church? Has the public been informed that this is for sale?
If they wanna sit there, you'd have to fight with Dalton's for who owns that property in the back. They, in their deed, they own it,
But you already had a closed.
right? It's been declared surplus. We've had Kevin Hall and them did the deed
Right.
and the survey, and the back steps on that belong to the Daltons.
It's an
But to answer
untenable.
her question,
Yeah.
My question is has the church, does the public know that the church has been put up for sale?
Yeah, when it went for surplus in 2012.
2012.
Didn't you accept bids or something? Didn't you accept
We
bids
did,
back then?
2012.
And then you held them because there was an issue?
Wasn't it going into the tax sale back in 2012?
That never occurred.
Right, but don't you have to go through the publication and request bids again?
yeah.
No.
That request for the tax sale was supposed to have been done back in 2013, but it never happened.
Never happened.
According to the Association of Towns, we're doing it right down what it, way it's supposed to be.
We'll be holding public hearings in any event.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a public hearing to determine that Dalton would be buying it, not a hearing to open the door forward for somebody else who might be interested in the property.
Opens the door for anything.
We can sell it to anybody we want, really. I mean, that's the way the law is.
So the line does not indicate that it needs to be disposed of through a bidding process?
No, it doesn't.
The whole problem arises is when there was a grant supervised by ECHO, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren,
Yeah.
Yeah.
supervised by ECHO,
Yeah.
there was no, what is the word I want?
We repaired something that was
They
existing.
repaired it, but there was no
Right.
right-of-way. There was no right-of-way given to the town. So therefore,
Right.
those back steps belong to Dalton.
That's not true though.
Well, you never got the papers, Lauren. We argued this, you and I argued this before, and we
Not a document.
never had any documentation
Uh-huh.
from that grant telling us that we had some kind of easement, some kind of, whatever you wanna call it.
I didn't think you needed one if it had been there for 40 plus 50 years. It was a, what do you call it? It's like adverse possession. You basically have been using it and it's by use. It's sort of, you know, I mean, because I know the neighbor next door allowed a gate in his,
Well, back in
Fence
the
to
days
go
of the
in.
handshake, yes,
yeah,
but now,
right.
anytime you do something like this, you ask one lawyer and they give you one answer, you
Yeah, I
ask
know
another
that.
lawyer and they give you another answer.
Yeah,
Depending on who's paying the lawyers.
Exactly.
right, yeah. I know, I'm just saying that.
Whoever pays the lawyer the most
We
is
went
their
to our
right
legal
answer.
counsel, and this is what they told us would be the,
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, if some of
there's
these
3 or
people
4,
had used.
you could handle it 100 different ways.
Yeah.
They said that, it makes no difference, you can sell it to whoever you want.
Yeah,
You go through a realtor, you can put it up for
Sure.
bid, whatever.
yeah.
But when you put it up for bid, now, all that disclosure on the steps, you gotta do all that to
But
tell
it doesn't,
people,
like somebody.
we don't own it.
Right, but I mean, somebody could choose to buy the building and that wouldn't bother them. I mean, you're saying that's the Daltons
Wouldn't
too,
bother them.
right? I mean, you're saying you're selling it as is with that problem. So, I mean, if other people
Wow.
wanted to buy it with that
According to
problem, they're
our,
welcome.
according to what our
to.
lawyer
I'm
said,
just
told me,
asking.
he said that you better get it cleared up first.
Oh.
Because if you don't, there might be repercussions coming back on you. Make no difference, you know. So,
It seems to me that that should be
Yeah,
at the
he's
discretion
paying
of the potential
the-
buyer.
Yeah, but he's
To
paying
make the
above
determination.
what the assessed evaluation is from the appraiser. And that was done back in 2012 at 86,000. And they're paying more. So,
Yeah, but
So at the
that
time,
makes it,
Ed, was there more than one person who submitted a bid, or was it just the Dalton?
at the
Or
time,
they sent a letter that said,
that was all, I couldn't even tell you how many it
There was
was now, because Billy was here,
yeah,
and I all changed. We had to get it straightened out.
I think, but I don't
What
remember
happened
if
to
there
him?
was
I don't know,
other.
he
Todd
signed back,
pointed Todd, there were.
destroyed it.
Oh, there were.
Wow.
You know, this is a project that's near and dear to him.
Sure.
Who is the town's lawyer with this project?
Reggie Bedell, but this is the second public hearing.
Sure.
Okay.
And the town board, I'm hearing, understands that it's in the town public's best interest to not seek the highest bid for the property. Just take what someone
I mean,
offers.
you're gonna lose it on a lawsuit, pay lawyers the difference, or
But
that's,
All right, let me ask you this, Gretel, and all the people who are having such a big problem with this. Would you buy a piece of property knowing that part of that property is owned by someone else? I think that is,
well, we're talking about a very specific part of the property. I think, again, and this isn't the first time these sort of sales happen, where if you sell as is with the full understanding there's some contention, there are buyers who may not care, and they may be fine, we won't use those steps.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
So I just don't, I think there's a lot of assumptions being made about, and closing the potential to other buyers, or to a higher price, or other stuff, so.
But you got lawyer fees too.
But I don't think it's the
Right.
town doesn't have to pay a lawyer to determine that ahead of time. You can sell a property as is,
As
and
is,
then it's the
yeah.
buyers, it's on the buyer
Yeah,
to make the
that's true.
determination.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not gonna do it, I'm doing just what the lawyer suggested. As far as I'm concerned.
There's unnecessary legal expenses here that are not necessary.
This is public. We're gonna have a public hearing, it's not a closed
So you
case,
can bring that up then.
all right, Charlie? It's not a closed case.
and you
We're
can
gonna have
bring
a
all
public
your
hearing.
options to the public hearing.
But we have to signify our intent to sell, simple as all that. You have a public hearing, everybody can come then, and who knows what will happen. We're making mountains at this point, a mountain and a molehill.
That's fine.
So I repeat, we're gonna have a public hearing where we're required to publish this notice, which we're doing. At the public hearing, who knows what's gonna happen?
Can I ask just a quick question to follow up? Does that mean that you will be publicly announcing before the public hearing that this property could be for sale to anyone?
It's gotta be published in the newspaper.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's ready.
Yeah, then we can't say it's gonna be specific.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had a couple from New Jersey, look at this. I introduced this, I got the assessment done, and then it just stayed, and it died, and nobody did anything with it
Exactly.
for 8 years, so I'm telling you. There was one other couple, and as soon as they found out, but all this will come out of the public hearing, and I can rustle this couple up if anybody wants to dig a grave.
Dig it right.
Anybody wants to what?
Dig it right.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do we have to specifically say to John Dalton, can we just amend it to read?
No, they said we had to say who it was and the amount. That's what
Even to have a,
Association in town.
even have a public hearing?
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
This is what they said it come out of it.
Well, if you have a public hearing saying this, then everybody comes and they all say, no, we don't want you to do that.
Then you can make the
Then you
decision.
can change, can't you?
Right?
I mean, this is
But you
what I'm
can't change
thinking.
it here.
No.
Well, I think,
What you would do is have another public.
well, I think the public hearing, if I'm,
Excuse me, folks, would you hold it while we're talking about it, and then you can make it?
I'm just thinking that
It's because I can't hear.
if we have a public hearing the way this is worded, right?
Mhm.
Then you listen to everybody who is at the public hearing. After that, you may make changes. Yes,
Right,
no?
then you
Am
have
I
another
reading
public
this-
hearing.
Am I reading this incorrectly? Am I,
No,
am I,
that'd be the way it would be.
Yes.
you advertise it this way?
You gotta advertise it this way, you go to a public hearing, and if this board decides that it wants to take into consideration how the public feels about it,
Right,
they will put them in another resolution,
right,
have another public hearing.
right. But I think it has to be,
But this has to go,
I think this has to go the way it is.
that's what this is for, right here, this public hearing.
Right.
It's not a legal binding arrangement, it's a notice
No,
of
it's a
intent,
notice
Right.
of,
which is what we always intended anyway.
We have not said sold.
no.
So now we have to take a date.
And if someone wants to offer $280,000,
Right, I'd let them know,
I'll make a donation.
Yeah,
as is.
right. And
So-
then they can argue with whatever.
Can we do it, do you need 30 days for one of these?
No,
or
10.
10?
Yeah, we can.
Because
As long as you got the time, don't get it in the paper.
I'm out of town a week from Monday, for a week. So we either have to do it next week,
We
if
can
I'm gonna be
we
here,
can do it the weekend, you know, whatever.
so it would have to be after, like,
I mean, you just decide.
I don't have a calendar in front of me.
They've already had, today, here's the 10th, right here.
we wouldn't want to do it that fast. That's,
I'm out of town
Give it
today.
time to get the paper.
huh?
Give it time to get the
It has to get in the paper, and it's too late for next week.
So it'd have to be after the 29th of September.
How, can you make it then?
You asking me?
No, no, because that's
We can,
But can you make it then?
I might be able to. I actually was interested in buying the church once. I saw it, and I was waiting to see if it ever came up for auction. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And you know, you are gonna have future town buildings that you may or may not have to sell.
Hopefully without these legal problems.
I would
So
buy it all
anytime
the
after
time.
the 29th is good for me. 29th,
Yeah.
And
I'll put it
okay,
in.
that's a Tuesday.
we go check some. Let me see what our tentative budget.
Oh, wait a minute, we have a tentative budget.
Yeah, that's right around, I think it's October 15th or something like that. Let me check on the date.
Actually, there's only. It's probably, probably no need to put that in. But it is. I'm gonna change it.
The tentative budget has to be presented to you by October 5th.
Want to hold off until,
I won't be able to see that night. Well, you could do whatever.
do that the first, October 1st would be the Thursday that we come back.
So what are we doing then, October 1st? What are we doing then?
Okay, we'll do a public hearing and then the tentative budget.
We'll go on 15 minutes, so
I think you better have a half hour.
Yeah.
It's gonna go on forever. Yeah, we should have a second night. I think so, because we're gonna go through the budget.
we
Yeah.
do the budget first, how long does that take?
I don't know, how much you want to say over it.
You want to do it different nights, then?
Do it.
We'll be here forever if we don't.
Yeah.
There's a January 10th.
Yeah.
It'll be just forever if you don't do
Can
two.
you do it, like on what's this,
Any night except Wednesday.
Saturday afternoon?
What day are you coming back?
I'm coming back. I'll be available the 29th.
Of September.
Yes.
And this is the 10th, so that's 2 weeks. Next week, they'll give it time to get published in the paper. Can't get done any sooner than that.
No. So what are we doing the 29th? We're doing the what?
We're gonna do the public hearing on the 29th. We're doing the public hearing on the 29th.
Okay, what time, Jim?
What time? Not at 6:30.
No.
I don't do 6:30.
Okay.
7? 6? 6:30?
You just said you didn't do 6:30?
Yes, 7.
7 o'clock. The
7
public
o'clock.
hearing.
How's that?
Sounds good.
All right, public hearing at 7 o'clock on September 28th.
29th.
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 And then the first, we're doing the budget. Is that what you said?
No, do that different nights if they want to.
Well, we are.
Oh, okay.
This is the 29th
Okay.
here.
So if you want to.
Well, that's gonna be the same week. You wanna have
It'll be
two
the same
meetings the same week?
Get it over and done.
All right, well, so then if you go to that same week, we'll have public hearing on a Tuesday and the budget on a Thursday.
Okay.
All right? What time are we doing the
What
budget?
happened now then?
What?
It's not on the 29th?
No, that's the 29th, but we're gonna have
The
the
budget,
preliminary budget hearing on the
October 1st.
which is,
And then the first budget hearing is on October the
Yeah.
1st.
Right,
Mhm.
What time?
7.
7. I'm all for 7.
7 o'clock, all
Yeah.
right,
Me too.
And what day is this?
Thursday.
that's a Thursday.
Okay.
First one is Tuesday at 7, same week, Thursday at 7. Okay.
We need a motion on that, right?
Yeah,
I'll move it.
Okay, so.
that's for the first.
That's for the first one, for the
Public hearing.
public hearing.
Okay. All right. Do you have to have one for the budget too?
Yeah.
We're all meeting. We got to vote on the first one, right?
Oh, no.
Yes, we have to vote. I think that-
Need a second.
I'll say.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now the second one. October 1st, budget
I'm gonna make a motion, we do the
meeting.
budget meeting, preliminary budget on October
No,
1st.
tentative.
Tentative, okay. Budget, Thursday, October 1st at 7.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor?
All right.
Opposed?
Did you vote on the resolution to sell the stone church?
We
Yes,
voted for the public
Yes,
hearing,
we
yes.
voted for a public
voted for the
hearing.
public
So
hearing.
you had a resolution to sell the stone church and the resolution to hold the
No,
public
no, no.
hearing is the same
We
thing?
already,
You did vote.
we already made the
2012.
resolution to sell it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this says-
2012.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yes.
The resolutions have a public.
So there's no resolution to sell the stone church to John Dalton?
It's already been done.
The resolution was.
You did it in 2012.
No.
Well, I'm confused because I know that Councilman Risley asked if you needed to have the language say to sell to John Dalton, and you said yes. So
Just for the
I'm
public
confused.
Just for the hearing.
Right.
No vote.
Okay, could
We're
you
not-
read the resolution for the public hearing,
We're not voting
please?
to sell, we're not voting to sell the old stone church to John Dalton, or to whoever.
To anybody.
To anybody.
Wouldn't have a public hearing.
We will
Yes.
have a public hearing, and all of this will be brought up for discussion on October 29th at 7.
September.
September, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Could you please read the resolution for the public hearing then regarding the stone church? so I understand it clearly.
Well, it's not it was a motion,
Right.
right? You're not doing the resolution.
But,
Motion to have.
Motion to have a
hearing.
public hearing.
but what is the wording for the public hearing, I think is the.
No, a motion
Are you doing this or not?
Yeah. Yeah,
to consider.
that's what we're having a public hearing on.
Because this says, is being offered to sell the old stone church to John Dalton with a selling price. And then the town board hired, I listed previous resolution where it was deemed unnecessary, and the town board hired the firm of Armstrong Appraisers, and the town board will hold a public hearing on the sale of the old stone church to John Dalton on 9/29/15.
Right.
At that time, we decide yes or no, whether we're gonna sell it to
Right.
them or not.
Resolution 87 is being offered, 2015, is being offered to acknowledge the audit done in January for the offices of chief fiscal officers, zoning and code officers, justice court. The town clerk and the tax collector accounts could not be completed because of insufficient information, and the state controller auditor was investigating it. This audit was completed by Clara Pine and Mark Wilson. We need this motion to
Just
send
to
to
put it in our minutes.
yeah, to put it in our minutes for the unified justice.
And both you and Mark did this,
Yeah, there's a copy of it here.
and a copy of that policy.
Right, there's a copy here. We did read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just,
And the ones we couldn't do was because Kevin was here and he told us we couldn't do those. And that's noted in the.
That's all.
that's the notice in there.
Right, it's noted there.
I move to accept this out.
Second,
Yes, I'll say.
any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Councilperson LaPointe.
Yes.
Councilperson Risley.
Yes.
Councilperson Gardner.
Yeah.
Councilperson LaFors.
Yes.
Supervisor Gardner.
Yes.
Resolution 88, 2015, resolution reimbursing the town of Essex general fund the sum of $226,000 and $226,022 from the town of Essex sewer district capital project in the amount of $7,083 per annum over a 30-year period, with a balance to be paid at maturity of the term. Whereas from 2002 to 2010, the town of Essex Sewer District borrowed the aggregate amount of $226,022 from the town of Essex General Fund. And whereas to date, these monies have not been repaid by the town of Essex Sewer District to the General Fund, and accommodations for this payment must be made. And whereas the town of Essex is desirous of reimbursing the town of Essex General Fund the sum of $226,022 in yearly installments of no less than $7,083 per year for the 30-year term, with final payment to be made at the conclusion of the term. Be it resolved that the town of Essex Town Board hereby authorizes the repayment of the sum of $226,022 to the town of Essex General Fund from the town of Essex Sewer District Capital Project, which reimbursement shall be in the amount of $7,083 per annum, or at such additional and increased amounts as determined by this board for the term of 30 years, with the balance due to be paid at the conclusion of the 30-year term. And be it further resolved that these sewer payments shall run concurrently with the existing long-term debt of the town of Essex Sewer District for the increase in improvements of its existing facilities which is concurrently $26,250 per year. And be it further resolved that the repayment of the $226,022, $1,083, whereas increased in the future, shall be noted in the bond book so that future town boards will be aware of this debt. And be it further resolved that this board hereby authorizes the supervisor of the town of Essex to execute any and all additional documents indecent and necessary to comply with this resolution.
I intend to be there on the final payment.
You gonna write that last?
They were painful, right?
There's just a painful end to an elaborate shenanigan.
So what is the total debt of the 7,000 plus the, and what is the total figure? The long-term financing plus this
$226,022.
added to,
No,
I
Doesn't
think,
add it to
I
nothing.
think,
No,
No.
it's,
Our bond payment is $26,050.
what is the total debt that that's paying?
$333.33 or $33. This is what the difference between $26,250 and the $33,000. So it does not raise any other debt service for that. We're using that for this. We had an awful time, they would not tell us how to do this at the state controller's office. But when we come up with the idea of it, they said this is the way to go, but they have to have a plan. We had to have a plan to pay this back, or everybody was gonna be hit for the full amount
Yes.
at once.
If this would have been paid for when it was supposed to be, we wouldn't be in this mess.
So the
Thank
total
you very
payment is
much.
$33,333 a year if you combine the two, is that what I understand?
You combine the
you
bond
combine
plus
26 and
this
7.
payment.
And that's the total of 33,330, which was what the project was planned to have, 1 million in debt for 33 years.
Wasn't planned. If it
That
was, sure, that would have been the plan.
Okay,
No. The plan was that when you borrowed that money, or the town borrowed that money from the general fund, it was supposed to be paid back 1 year.
yes.
That fiscal year. It wasn't. And for 5 years, it's been red. And the state auditors have jumped on it every year. What is the plan? Not until this year did we have a plan. And we finally went to them, and Ellen McDonald said, you're on the right track. She got a hold of Dan Manning. Dan wrote the resolution for us. With her help and our help, this is what it comes out. It is no increase in your debt service. This is what is here. There is enough in there to pay some interest. So, then they're satisfied, we're satisfied. We got the plan now to do that. I mean, the sewer itself, with the 30% raise that we had, I know it hurt, but we are in the black now. We're not in the red. It's against the law for that district to run in the red. And now we're out of it.
Congratulations.
I went to your water and sewer meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering why you didn't release the rates or the categories.
Didn't quite hear that. Could you come up?
I went to the water and sewer, your meeting,
Right.
and I sat through the whole meeting, and I've watched the video twice since then, and I would like to know why you have not disclosed to the public what the rates are and what the categories are.
They're on, they're there, as far as I know.
They're where?
They have, right, ask the sewer clerk. She'll give you all the rates. There.
She will, okay.
I'm sure you remember.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
It's not on your website,
We don't have a website.
the Essex Town website?
We don't have a town website. It was,
You have the name.
what was that?
You have the name.
You actually have a section that says water and sewer, and when you click on it, it says rates are not
We
available.
don't have a town website.
Yeah, it's just-
There is a
We're
town
in the midst
Facebook
of
page.
trying to develop
The
an
Facebook
engineer
page is
website
not
that
website.
isn't personal control, so it'll be there.
But you can get it, okay.
I just think it's wrong that you didn't disclose.
It's not been hidden.
No.
I don't know why you're
It's not been
getting this.
hidden, everyone can watch the video and see. And you were asked several times for the rates and the categories, and you answered and said that you didn't have time.
I
Because you
answered
didn't,
it?
you did, you said you don't have time right now to give the rates because you didn't want the meeting to go past midnight. You can watch the video, it's right there.
I'm not disputing you, I may have said that, but the rates, I'm sure, if you check with Donna, Donna's the one, I don't personally have the rates, no. Because I don't deal with billing.
Donna was there, it was the water and sewer meeting.
That's when we were going over properties. We had, what, 40 properties? That's the meeting you're talking about?
It is.
Yeah, I remember the video.
Well, I mean,
What video, I mean,
I don't personally have those figures, but I'm
Was
sure
that when we
that,
were deciding on what properties,
yes.
if
Yeah.
if they were too
The
high?
discrepancies
Yeah, okay.
that were.
I remember that meeting, but we weren't there discussing the rates, we were discussing how a certain property should be billed at that time.
Right.
But why don't you come in and ask the sewer clerk, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah,
being,
yeah.
there's nothing being hidden.
Tomorrow at 9.
But you can watch the video, it might be exciting.
Oh, yeah. So
You need
Excuse me?
you need a resolution for this, right?
yes. I need a motion.
Motion for the payback.
Yep.
okay, yeah, no, yeah.
I'll move it. Gotta be done.
Good choice.
No, no, this is the least painful solution.
Yeah, it is.
It beats dumping this amount on the district itself. I can just see how you would have felt about paying back $226,000 for 100 people, 100 pieces of property. I don't have it.
Need a second? Okay. Have a roll call vote?
Councilperson Brian Bird,
Yes.
Councilperson Claire O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilperson Mark Risley,
Yes.
Councilperson James DeForest,
Yes.
Supervisor Edberg.
Yes. Proceeding with the testing of the well drilling, I think Cedar got off the phone with Susan Kennedy this morning. And, of course, Wayne Ryan didn't give us a great amount of information on what the well drilling was gonna be and everything. And, I'm saying hold off on that one, but go ahead with she suggested also that we do the drilling in Wolfsboro on the triangular one up there to keep things moving. Because we gotta have a certain amount of plan when December comes around so that we can get the extension, if possible extension. And put it like that.
Well, I'm a little concerned that we have a contract with AES. Yes?
But I talked with Todd and as far as that in Wolfsboro, no, there's no contract for up there. That's their land. This is all, they're in agreement with that up there. Down here, this is still AES right now. But
Well, I'm just looking out for the town as far as AES coming back and saying that we inappropriately went to another contractor. Well, they were under hire. I mean,
but they weren't, that's to find a ground source, water source in the town of Essex, not in Wolfsboro.
but if it came to fruition, couldn't you link the two?
Could we lot now?
If it came to fruition where you found water there and then
Right.
you proceeded to hook up with another engineer to design it, they could come back, AES, Wayne, and say, I had the project and you then allowed me not to
Goldsboro's
do it.
gonna supply us with the water.
I understand, it's a legal,
This is a shared service.
well, it's a legal question, I just don't wanna have the town in trouble by doing something we
What I'd
shouldn't.
like to do on this, if you want, we can do it like this. We can set up another meeting with, and I want to set up another meeting with Susan Kennedy, Wayne Ryan, Todd.
Well, we're supposed to set up another meeting anyway. before
Right.
we know it. I'd like to get another meeting on there. Well, you got one coming anyway.
Right.
It's just a legal question.
Yeah.
We have a contract with somebody, and if I had a contract with someone and they came and hired another
And that-
contractor,
and that-
I would be upset.
Well, in that contract, it says that either one of us could back out in 30 days. I got the contract in
Which one was that
for the groundwater source.
with AES?
Yep.
But we didn't back out in 30 days.
No, we could back out any time in 30 days.
Well, we would
With a
have,
disagreement between the two of us.
we'd have to do that in writing and do that
Yeah,
before
we would.
we, well, I don't know, I mean, it's a matter of
But
procedure.
that's the way it would be.
Is that something we would wanna do? If
I
you,
don't know, well, if AES keeps coming back with $4 million or $5 million to do this project.
No, I understand all that. I understand that.
You say, well, you're not
I'm not,
Todd knows, in working with Todd, I'm not saying get rid of AES, I'm saying, let's look at what Todd's got to offer. He's the president of AES, of the water thing.
right.
Let's talk with him, because when we talked with him here, he made sense. Wayne kept coming back with $4 million or whatever. Todd looked at the $1.5 million that we had. What can we do with that?
I wasn't here for that meeting, but
Right.
I understand
Right.
from the
This is
meeting
what-
that this is what came about, and I understand all of that.
Right.
But I'm just saying legally, we signed a contract with the contractor, AES, the engineer. And so I have the question of whether we hire another engineer, which Todd is an engineer.
Todd's the engineer for, he's the president of AES.
So you now would have contracted with another firm.
No,
No, it's the same.
Todd is the president.
Todd is AES.
Yes.
And so now who is,
Wayne was the person that they assigned to this project.
okay,
But we can change that. We can go, Todd can be it. This is what I'm trying to ask them. I want Todd instead of Wayne.
all under AES.
Yes. We
Okay.
had Jim do it.
I thought there was
I thought you were
another
changing
engineer
companies too.
that wasn't part of AES.
Well, and I think before we move,
That's only this one.
Tom is Willsboro's engineer.
Okay, the Tom is the one I got confused with then.
yeah,
So what is his role in this?
Tom is
Just the one.
Willsboro's engineer.
Just the
Just
one.
the
that-
drilling in Wolfsburg.
And the
That's all.
Willsboro.
And so we would be hiring who? Todd through AES to drill the wells in
No,
Hillsborough?
where
We
would
would be
be-
hiring Tom. I'm confused.
Okay,
I'm trying to
here-
clarify.
here's the way I think it's gonna happen, is that we had this meeting, Todd, Tom were here, and we agreed we were gonna use two phases. One, we we're gonna investigate Willsboro, and the other, we we're gonna investigate there. Then we agreed we needed more information. It hasn't been forthcoming from AES yet.
Okay,
And so as soon as it's forthcoming, other than two guesses, as soon as we get a legitimate phase by phase, we call another meeting. I think it's incumbent upon us at that point to get this question absolutely cleared out. Okay, AES, are you aware this is the way that it needs to go?
that's my concern.
Yep, and I think that can be, we'll look them right in their eye
Right, yeah.
and say,
Okay,
because I think what's
I mean,
happening.
Todd sat right here with me and said that it didn't bother him if Cedarwood did that in Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he said, because Todd was here, he's the president of AES.
okay, well, that was my concern. I wasn't sure exactly who the players were. but I
Right,
understand.
and well, with Susan Kennedy too.
Right.
And Susan, she has suggested that we get Wayne out of the picture. Let me put it like that. And I agree, I mean, he keeps coming back with prices that we cannot afford. You know, the state isn't gonna allow us anything. You've got a certain debt service limit, we're way over $4 million. And they won't allow us to do it, and I wouldn't allow it to be done anyways. We've gotta do this and keep it in our budget, what this town can afford.
Sure.
Whether AES does it, or Cedar Wood, or whoever, I mean,
Okay, that's my concern, you answered it.
right?
Yes,
I can get you I got the contract in there with AES, I can give it to you. It is there, it was done in 2009. That was
Right, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't wanna go to another contractor such as Tom, and then AES gets upset
Yeah,
that we've hired another
Wow.
engineering.
I ain't probably gonna be upset then.
So I mean, so we just need to work that through.
But Todd-
Whatever's done.
But Todd is the president there.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's my
so-
concern.
Yeah, and Susan was on our side with this.
I mean, the only other concern that I had was that if we did decide to go to it, and we can determine that
Right.
at some point, is that if I am on the understanding that Willsboro wants to drill there for theirs at some point too?
Yep.
And,
That is probably gonna be one of our, I'm not gonna say out of the picture, but it's, you know, it could be. The biggest problem with coming from Wolfboro right now, it's not if there's water or drilling or nothing on their property, it's getting the pipeline down here. And without a district, we've gotta go, we would have to go to every landowner down through there and get their permission. Unless Wolfboro does a district. Now, if you had enough time, you could let Wolfboro get a district, and they could put that pipeline down through, no questions asked.
right. My concern was that we'd be sharing an aquifer, that they would be using more water than we
Oh,
would.
they're gonna use a ton, that's for sure. They
You
use
know, So,
450,000
just a
gallons
concern I
right now
have.
a day.
it would have to be a well that provided.
Right, yeah, well, that's for sure. I mean, this is why, if you don't test, so you don't know. I mean,
That's true.
I talked to
It'd
the
be
welder.
nice if they drilled it.
Yeah,
But now we're.
but they're behind, they're not nowhere near where we are, as far as EPA, Department of Health.
there is,
They come down on us, and we're at that point where we.
Right.
there is,
Another thing with them, they don't have any money. We've got a grant, and that was there, and Ronnie and God. For us. On that hardship, well, you remember the hardship grant report, and you were there, Ronnie, and I don't know if Jim was, or, but anyways, that's what we're trying to hang on to.
No, I got it.
you know, there's also even the possibility that we might even enter into, there's money available if we might enter into a shared agreement.
Yeah, well, that's what we were looking at, that's why we wanna do this up there.
If we
Keep
can
the
enter
ball
into
going here.
a water district, that would be shared and there's money available that way. But there isn't any money available if we just, buy water from this.
Right.
So I think
It
that's,
takes a while to form a district.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
I mean, it takes 6 months to form the district.
Or more,
Yeah.
Yeah,
from my experience.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have one by the end of the year for your EMS, that's for sure.
Or this one, that we did with the water extensions.
Yeah, you gotta get, it,
Takes a while.
but this is where you're trying to keep both balls, I mean, all the engineers, everybody agrees.
Right, no, I understand, there were my concerns that I had.
Right, and, you know, what we're hoping for, I don't know how it'll turn out. Also, they get us some firm prices or whatever. I mean, the way he's got it, he said, I estimated this and I didn't know what kind of a cost I was gonna have, Wayne. And I said, well, Jesus, we gotta have better than that, we gotta have more information. And so I
I
don't,
wondered, maybe that was like design.
well, that's, you know, you got it, open pocket.
Yeah.
And so, those things like that, you can't make that decision. I wouldn't, not on Wayne's decision.
Okay.
Now, we've got all the total thing here now as far as other costs up there. There's two different things there.
Well, we had some vague letter from Wayne
Yeah, well, it's just what it was.
Yeah, there was no specifics listed.
I mean, I wrote it back, I said, I gotta have one. I wouldn't bring this,
I read it that meeting.
there's
There
no
wasn't
way.
anything you could,
You could, no figure real firm or nothing, what,
maybe we could do this for the filter, and maybe we could do that, and
So the next thing is to schedule a meeting on this?
right, yeah. That's what I would do. Susan said she'd be here. Yeah. I'm sure we can get Tom and we can get Wayne.
Yes.
Or Todd.
It's incumbent on he has to come up with,
Right.
and they haven't done it. It's just, you've seen that email
Yeah.
from Wayne,
Oh, I got it.
Right. So,
but it's a perfectly valid, it makes a great deal of sense. When we have him here at the table,
right.
and it's eyeball to eyeball, and then paper to paper,
Mhm.
and the contract will be written, so clearly
Right.
states on but every sign off. And I guess I could determine that the state is willing to go all,
Yeah.
kind of delay.
We gotta have, like I say, somewhere between now and December, when I sit down with Susan, we've gotta have some sort of a plan of direction, of where we're going. Then you can feed that back to the EFC. So they will make possibility of us getting an extension.
Another extension.
You know,
I have a question. Can you tell us who will be paying for the well in Willsboro?
What's that?
Who will be paying for the well to be drilled?
We would, that person,
And the well driller, is the,
same thing. That, it's a lot, you know. There are 3 2-inch holes that'll be drilled in a triangular deal through sand, which is, you know, it's about as cheap as you're gonna get. These things, you know, it's about, I think one of them was $9,000 to do it.
so this, the well driller is who? I didn't understand you.
The well driller up here,
Well, again, we've got to wait.
Aztec.
Yeah.
And do you have a contract?
5 McCready Hill Road, Boston Spotting, or Mark's phone number, it's here. I know it's one reason they're using them, they're a female, or, yeah,
Minority owned.
a minority owned driller.
And there's a contract with them for this project?
What's that?
Is there a contract with that well driller for this project?
Not necessarily.
No, you can.
This
have
is a
anybody.
bid,
Right,
right?
yeah.
If someone,
If the engineers come in, it's no different than Lane Christensen when they dug up there. I mean,
yeah, same thing.
AES or the engineering outfit takes care of that. I talked to the guy over there today, that one welder that's over in Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad we didn't go to the Takis. 5 gallons in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Might pass.
5 gallons in there? Oh, dear.
They're gonna do some fracturing
Near where?
where we were, almost to where we were up in there. That's where we were going. Yeah. Anyway,
Are you comfortable with this?
Yes.
okay, I mean, yeah,
Wait till more information comes in.
Yeah.
this is what the information is for that one up there. You know, the one with Wayne, and I, like I say, that information, there is nothing really there.
We can jog on them when they get talking.
Yep.
You still get the budget.
But I want Todd, I want Todd here.
Right.
Yeah.
Sound good?
That's, yeah, Wayne, that's unacceptable behavior, which he specializes in.
Begs Park rules. You got the letter from the insurance company?
Yes. Oh. I need to get rule number 9 straightened out. Should that read, no unleashed dogs?
No,
No?
no, it should be no dogs were allowed there, period, because
Period.
you don't want a dog doing their business where the kids can be
Well-
playing in the sand.
We do have
We do have
bags.
The dog
We
bags.
got, it says pick it up.
Yeah, and I camp a lot, and I see how much that rule is.
Yeah.
No, the dog should not be allowed on the beach.
Okay,
I wouldn't want my kid playing there. I agree with that rule wholeheartedly.
I think there needs to be an added on to this.
yeah. On the thing, I think that we gotta add that, according to that insurance company on the toys. If you bring them, take them back, that's all. You know, and pack in, pack in.
Right, and that's the rule in the park.
I have another
Go ahead.
question, do I dare? Number 13, I don't know what that means.
Go down there and we'll throw stones and find out.
Yeah,
Are there copies of those rules that the public can see?
yeah.
We're just working on it right now.
They're in the town clerk's office, but this was posted years ago. Well, this was made in 2000.
Is that what you put on the?
2000. This
We
was-
are gonna have signs made up
Yeah.
for them.
But there was a sign years ago down there, along with the no swimming signs, and I'm sure if you got a scuba diving outfit, you could go in there and find them all.
Did they take that big sign down that
They
had all
put
those
signs up
rules?
at Darrell Bastion, put them
Oh,
on.
really?
Yeah.
Because there was a big sign down there with all these
I mean,
rules on it.
what the sign does is protect the town.
Right.
And it gives the insurance company something to stand on.
Right.
If you have nothing up there, you're gonna be left. And if you
Right.
openly let it happen,
Right.
The no swimming sign is
They
still
will-
up there, Jim.
they will, not cover
Well,
it.
that's a new
Right.
one,
Yeah.
but there's been numerous.
Legally, we would have exposure.
So do we?
They wouldn't have to defend that.
Sign down?
Oh, we had that great big humongous sign down there, is it gone?
It's not-
It was
They're
right
being
at the
made,
end.
right?
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
we
there
got
was a
some
big,
other signs being made.
I know
Yeah,
what
but-
you're talking about.
there was a big sign, it was done in brown and I forgot, maybe yellow. Big huge sign that was right there as you went down to the park. It's not there anymore?
There's just a large no swimming sign.
It's been gone, it's been gone for,
Well, it hasn't gone
Three.
that, well, let's see, how old is Michelle? Michelle is 19, so, yeah, it's been gone a while,
it's been gone a while.
I guess.
Should we have a sign made?
Yeah, we're having them made, more signs.
But don't you need to add the pack in, pack out?
Right,
I
yeah,
would think
that's
you
what we
did.
wanted, that's
Yeah.
why we brought this
And I
up.
think that,
The county will make them for us.
I think we talked about handicap parking too, didn't we?
Yes, we
Down
did.
there by the dock
Yeah.
only.
Because that was an issue 20 years ago. We used to have a gate across there,
Yeah.
wouldn't let anybody down to the dock. And we had some handicapped people come, say, we'd like to be able to get down there. So we said, okay, we'll let you go down. That was basically what that was for, down there. Was for the handicap parking, to be able to go out on a dock. You know, there's a ramp down there, and get someone out there.
So you're saying now that that whole area down there should be only handicap?
That's what it was years ago.
But is there a need for that now? I mean, can't a handicapped person park almost anywhere down there? There is never so crowded that they can't?
I mean,
Right.
there's only about 3 parking spots down there. Really?
Yeah, by the fence, you mean?
Not down by the dock.
Oh, yeah,
Move down to the
Not by
bottom.
the dock, not out by the fence, but down by the dock, where the dock.
okay.
Excuse me. And
I don't know, but there's no sense in putting up fences or signs, they tear
No,
them
they
down.
tear down fast
So
and run them up.
no sense in doing that.
I talked to Jim Martin, and he told me that they put chains up, they cut them, took them up, just dropped it there. Next day you put it back up.
They cut
Next
it.
morning after that, goes down the chain, everything's gone. They put cable up. That was coming up, and I said, oh, well, so, hey. short of, that's just what they, the insurance company said, short of putting a fence up, which,
Chain
what you
link.
had, put your signs up,
And barbed wire and
You know,
razor wire.
and don't encourage them. Or else they will not defend us, they have nothing.
I understand, yeah.
I mean, this is, probably been an issue for every supervisor,
Right.
I think, or town board. It's nothing that happened yesterday. I think every insurance company down through it said, no, you can't.
Well, is
You
it,
can't allow yourself to be opened up that way.
is it an issue for the town that we're allowing people to go down there?
True. You ain't been on, you haven't been on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. No. There's people down there, slides down there,
And kids are sliding on it,
yeah, there's an issue.
and not just local.
Well, there's other things you can put up for a gate besides cable and chains.
What?
It can be very difficult to remove,
Yeah.
if you really wanna keep them out of there. That's just my question.
The thing is, you want
use it, but use it right.
Yeah, you want
Guidelines,
people
that's
to
all.
enjoy it.
Well, that's
But you
true.
don't, you know, but they gotta respect what's there, that's the biggest thing.
And you also have.
You want people to enjoy it, that's what it's there for.
Nobody let it.
It's a nice car.
If you're gonna let boats more on the town dock, then you can't close access down.
Why would you want it? I mean, it's there for people to.
Well, they were,
That just have to comply.
no, there's no overnight docking,
Right.
and that's what, for a while, they were having a problem with that.
Has anyone ever docked down there?
Yes, people dock there
They,
pretty often.
they do it?
As someone who goes there pretty much every day, people dock there pretty often.
Yeah,
And they come up into town and they use, the paddlers,
yeah.
Oh, that's
simply paddlers.
And that's another thing, is cars do need to get access, because they'll take their kayaks and paddle, and boats off there to get access to the
Yeah.
Right, I mean,
And then hold it back up into the parking.
Yeah,
lot.
you can go back up, yeah.
Well, that was my question is, do we need to secure it or not secure it?
No.
well,
Yeah.
what we gotta do is
It's
try
a
to
big
get
draw.
people to understand that
Sign.
these are the rules.
Sign.
We're not denying them
Nice
access to
signs.
it, but there is rules that go along with this.
Yeah.
For
The problem with
protection of the whole town.
Get with lawsuits,
Right.
that's the whole.
Put the signs up and do what the insurance company tells us. we have to
Right,
do.
yeah, that's,
I mean, that's not.
That's what I'm doing.
But can I ask a quick question? If you have the signs up, then you're covered,
Yeah.
that's not an issue then, right? I mean, it's an
well, we
issue of.
can't openly say, oh, okay,
No,
don't
but
worry
I
about the
mean-
sign, go ahead. No, you
No,
can't do
but if
that.
you have the signs up,
Yeah.
that's the issue of liability, right?
Yes.
That
As
covers.
far as the insurance company, it doesn't
Yeah.
prohibit.
Got it,
Suit.
yeah, I got it, okay,
There'll always be,
yeah, well, that'll
We're all
happen no
gonna
matter
get
what.
hammered, but will they,
Can,
if somebody gets hurt down there, the town's gonna get sued probably anyway.
Shift the
But-
signs back
I mean,
Will the insurance company defend us?
No.
That's where,
if the sign is
and if it
up,
comes in, there's gonna be $1 million or $2 million or whatever happens. Say if somebody gets down there and drowns, and they can prove that you're liable,
Sign.
negligent. You're
Anyway,
gonna get
up.
nailed.
Get the signs back up, right?
Yeah.
And this is what the insurance companies tell us. If you're negligent in this, then we are not gonna defend you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be on your own. Then you wait for your tax.
but that's what I'm just trying to say, confirm, is that if the sign is up, does that protect you with the insurance, as far as the insurance company is concerned?
To a
it's
certain
not just
extent.
anything.
To a
To
certain
a certain
extent,
extent, it would.
they will defend us, but if it's negligence on our part, they are not gonna. I mean, put it like that.
If we
That's all,
don't,
the only way I can put it.
if we don't enforce these rules and regulations, I think, and that I think is the hard part, enforcing these rules and regulations,
We have
because
no enforcement agency.
we have no enforcement
sign goes
agency,
up, but nobody
and,
enforces, can
you know,
Mm-hmm.
about Wallens Bay?
What's that?
No, there's no swimming sign down there, I put it up.
They're swimming.
They're swimming.
All the
Well,
time, they're down there swimming.
They're swimming off the dock down here.
yeah, they jump it all over.
haven't seen one, but I know go down.
It was in the Press Republican.
Yeah, they were jumping
Yeah.
off the dock.
Picture, some,
There's pictures.
such and such.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
These kids go off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was.
Hey,
And God forbid we have an accident.
where are we?
So,
So
I don't know
we
if I
need
know
to
exactly.
put the changes.
Get a
in
list
there.
of this.
Right.
So On number 2, I crossed off no vehicles allowed in the park. Parking shall be in the lot of the park, only handicap parking meters off.
Right.
And then I added pack in, pack out toys, and no toys on the dock.
Was that number 14?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good.
You guys like not talking.
Yep.
Where did you go for 14 now?
Back out.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
I will get a, these will be available here at the town clerk's office, and also I will get signs made up.
So do we need
Now that we know what we're
So
looking
we're not
at.
some more throwing the lake.
Right. What's the start?
So we need a motion on this, like,
Yes.
Okay.
I'll move it with the changes.
so motion to adopt with changes. A second.
I'll say.
Roll call vote?
Councilperson LaPlante,
Yes.
Councilperson Darby,
Yes.
Councilperson LaForest,
Yes.
Councilperson Bisley,
Yes.
and Supervisor Brady.
Yes. We got the correspondence from White Company, White Team.
Just for information.
They don't really want to pay us $50, is what the whole gist of it is, I think.
And that is the reason why I posted on Facebook the rules, because on Facebook I saw where a couple people got married down on Beck's Point, and we never got an application for a wedding.
Well, are people aware that they're supposed to?
Anyway,
I mean, they
They were
totally
pretty
have
good,
something,
yeah.
I would put it down, but.
it could, but it works for some.
Okay,
Could you add it on the sign?
Yeah.
It is on
Yeah,
here.
that-
A fee of $50 we charge for
The
weddings.
sign you get made up.
Yeah, all that is, it's written rules.
Okay.
That's what's gonna be on the sign.
Well, that's like someone visiting would know.
Right, yeah.
I can't observe it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that big sign was gone because it was always there.
That's what I thought.
Well, I mean, the kids are grown up now, so I haven't been down there lately.
What they're asking for, this soldier and bike tours is a reduced rate, basically.
How many times are they coming?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So,
They have been good about picking up after themselves. I used to have to go down and check it,
but did they leave the stuff or did they take it with them?
take it with them.
Okay.
They follow the bring it in, you take it out.
All right, so if it's $250, they want a reduced rate.
They want an annual rate. Is that right? Yeah, they're
Yeah.
after an annual rate. for
Okay, so
using-
they basically have they're telling us they basically have 5 tours.
5 to 16, or 5 tours, 5 to 16 people.
Okay.
For the rest of the year.
All right, do they have them before September?
They done, yeah, when I went down there, they had them.
They
That
have,
was the one that, all of a sudden, they were in there, and they were,
Okay, so 2 June and July,
I mean,
1 in August, so we're 3, and 6 in September, October, so we're talking 9. We're talking 9.
I don't think they have that many.
Well, I'm just reading what it says.
I know, that's what they say,
that's what they're saying.
Okay, so if they have 9 tours,
yeah.
okay, so that's 450, so we charge them.
When I went down there, I just asked the guy, they were set up, I said, do you have a permit from the town clerk saying that you could be here? He said, no. I said, well, what happens if there was a wedding going on, these people paid $50, and you were in here? Yeah.
Right.
And he come down, and he said, well, I'm just a grunt, he said, you got to call over there, and went on. Anyways,
I was
she
wondering,
asked me on
with the numerous dates that they have listed,
it. Right.
if someone did have a wedding on a day that they had it listed,
Right?
you really don't wanna have them monopolize it every weekend.
No, you don't.
So you want it available for other activities. So I don't, we can discuss the charge for them for multiple use, but I still think you should leave the
However,
alternative open for
yeah.
other
Right,
activities.
yeah.
however, if there is another event planned, then they will get preference over yours, because they're paying the full amount.
Right.
Exactly,
Okay.
and they should be aware of that. If they want it designated, then they'll have to.
And you will be notified.
Yeah,
I mean, if they want to reserve it.
Right.
yeah. That's
I think that would be a way of wording it.
Well, how much you wanna give them to reduce it?
Well,
You wanna give,
Now, how long are they there, or is it just?
well, they're probably say half hour to an hour. And they're, well, probably more than that because of the fact they're setting up. They set
Now,
a
when they
table
set
up,
up, what is that?
lunches, they have their lunches.
Just a lunch type of thing? when
They have a big trailer, they come in with a little table.
Yeah.
It's mostly sandwiches, but you remember that, it's a trailer,
Right,
where if anybody breaks down,
Okay.
it's a pretty good sized trailer. I had to,
Can
they had the whole parking lot taken up down there.
yeah.
And I said, you gotta move that thing.
They came
People,
here.
we got people that have to use this parking lot.
So it's a couple hour,
Yeah.
Yeah,
25 bucks.
well, if you had a wedding,
right? I understand.
yeah, it's a couple hours or whatever.
Could we maybe do an alternate, if there was an event here we could offer, then they could set up down at Jared's Day? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. That's why I-
Could you offer them oil and space for the reduced rate?
Yeah, do that.
That's it.
Offer-
Well, I think part of their, part of what their pitch was that, you know, the people who
Like the village.
go there like the village and they wanna come to the village, so.
And I'm sure the merchants want them to come.
Well, no, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying we should encourage that.
I mean, I see them here pretty often. For what it's worth, the people who are part of this tour, they're really good about supporting the businesses that are down
Right,
here.
that's what I say, so if you, I
wouldn't
mean,
wanna
I'm thinking
discourage
Whalens
them,
Bay
yeah.
too, but then I'm thinking, if you send them to Whalens Bay, are they gonna wanna ride their bicycles back up here? I don't.
I understand.
Built the back lot out here.
Hmm?
Down home.
Yeah, could offer them now.
Well, of course, this is the first time I've ever seen,
Well, this is, we
I've
have,
ever seen a schedule.
yeah.
Well,
So if someone wants to, and it's, I guess we have an idea when you're gonna show up, we never used
I
to.
figured we had, I had a very good discussion with them.
Yeah.
And with her, and this was one of the solutions. I said, well, I'll bring it. Give me your request, and we'll work on it, and see what we can come up with. I think that what Brad's saying, okay, as an alternate. Now, they're gonna have lunch, okay? Why not right out
Oh,
here?
we have bike tracks out here too.
Right.
I'm sure it's much more.
That
Well,
seems like
I would
that would
rather
be a
sit down
solution.
next to the lake and have my lunch
So
as
why?
preferred here. But as an alternate, if there's something else,
Right, going
then
on.
they come up here.
Right.
And I wouldn't be opposed to giving, because look how much they use it, I mean, they use it more than what's ever rented out for anything else during the year,
Right.
obviously.
But you gotta also remember that the monies that come from that help keep the park clean,
Right.
mowing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
it's
that's
maintenance.
true, yeah.
But the money goes for the maintenance.
But
25 bucks.
again, if they say, well, we're not gonna go there anymore because it's too expensive,
25 bucks.
I was gonna say 50%,
Yeah, that's.
because they use it so much.
You know, I mean, it's fine with me.
And this being the alternate, if someone else is using it, but point that out, I think that would be a fair,
This board makes the decision.
that would, in my opinion, that's, I think would be fair.
So
They
basically,
never really can pin it down when they're gonna be there.
You know?
But if it comes, if it looks with
if
another,
there's a conflict, they can
If
come.
there's a
we're paying 50 down there and they're up here.
You should just
Yeah,
let
I-
Pat know.
I think that, I don't see where
I would
they
just
find
ask
that.
them and see what their response is.
Well, yeah, I would almost say, well, this is what you guys want. I think it's fair.
Well, I
I
think-
don't-
Yeah. That's what I would do.
let's,
They're obviously making a profit on it.
oh, yeah, they charge you.
Those people aren't riding for free.
No.
Do we need a motion to reduce the rate though?
Yeah. I
So
would.
what are we gonna do, reduce it to half?
50%.
Is that what?
Well, you've got to write them a letter
Right,
saying we're willing to give them a reduced.
this is our proposal,
Yeah, and see what they say.
yeah, well,
The only thing I
they
would
get very
question.
firm on that. And which I would say, you know,
In
I
case
don't want
it's
them to,
conflict,
I don't
we
want
offer
them to
you
think,
the
well,
other.
they can get it for 5 or 25, is
Yeah,
fair,
that's
Yeah.
fair.
25, yeah.
so.
And you want to encourage the,
Yeah.
the town, the local business.
Either way, they stay in touch.
Because they do to come in 2 days.
Yeah. But anyways, that's, okay, I'll call her tomorrow. And, we'll email over the proposal, okay? How's that sound? Perfect.
So, all right,
And then have them sign the contract for us, too.
yeah,
Yeah, you almost got it.
yes,
You know, the liability.
I'm gonna give them September.
okay.
I'll give him a bicycle pump.
All right,
So you don't need a motion then?
Maybe to accept the contract once you get one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you get a
So we
contract,
get back.
right.
we get it back.
I don't think we can do this.
We can do that as that tentative budget.
Hmm,
Advertise that budget, whatever helps business.
There's, we should have their schedule
In September,
well in
January,
advance.
Yeah.
January, they should be scheduled, they'll be scheduled, should they?
I have no clue.
I don't know either. But,
Next, letter from Mary Ann Schultz. Giving low-income people a break on their sewer and water.
Can you legally do that?
No, not with the sewer. I mean,
Yeah,
I just wanted to bring it,
Yeah.
How many are in the hamlet?
but the thing
Two
is,
at max,
survey all the ones who have late fees.
and one would die rather than.
The only way you, I would think, have knowledge of low income would be if someone is applying for a senior star or an aged all-star.
Well, she also,
Yeah, but
she
senior
also
staff
says
is-
food stamp program and
Oh.
heat program and those programs, is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
If you can't legally do it.
I don't think you can legally do it, maybe those people could ask those particular, well, food stamp wouldn't, but.
The logical thing is to have these people apply to,
yes, that's what I told her.
Apply to E-Town for
I-
assistance.
For their,
Oh, right.
E-town, the county is the one you apply for assistance.
yes.
But small towns can't
I don't
afford
think,
to do it, you know.
because if you do it for one person, you're gonna have to do it for everybody. I mean, how can you do that?
Rates will go up again. But no,
No, I mean,
I
you
mean,
wanna
you
be,
think-
you know, you wanna be compassionate, you
Yeah.
wanna help these people.
but we can direct them, the best thing we can do is direct them to places. that do that.
I suppose that should be the response to this letter, then is,
Right.
this is the agencies on the
Right.
county level, you can go to for the statistics that we legally,
Yeah, reach out,
that's the way I'd respond to it.
reach out New York or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure that they could find out, office for the aging, for the older people, you know, I
Now, there's
mean,
all sorts.
But they don't pay any rent.
I'm sure they could be, you know.
Who's left?
Anyway,
And
I'll just send a letter back.
But if renters are
Real.
doing it, if renters don't pay it anyway, it's the
No, no.
landlord that.
Yes.
Supervisor Gardner.
Yes.